start from bringing on board fewer people, and then while you onboard, you have to quickly figure out what your retention needs to be. And a lot of times, what I do is that I keep my retention plan in place before I even go out to our onboarding, so that there is no delay, in terms of engaging with these people on ground or getting them what they deserve. So let's talk at length about this today. The agenda is you've chosen your champion. What next? The second is books cannot be judged by the cover. How do we filter? This simply means that a lot of times we speak to people over calls and we understand and identify them as really good. A lot of times these people also come to our events, and it's not till the second or third time that we realize, okay, this person's doing some fishy business, right? So you cannot always judge the book by the cover. And there are also a lot of times when we feel that one community member whom we've just onboarded might not be most suitable for us, but that person ends up being a star on the show. So, how do we filter? The third is rotten egg. What now? Which is that we have identified someone to be doing fishy business. How do we cut ties with them? Or is there a process via which we can get them to behave like a community member? So, we're going to be speaking about that. Fourth is knights. How do we bring them into the next battle? Knights are your people who turn out fabulous and you want them to keep coming to your events. You want to retain them. How do you ensure that that is consistently maintained? What can go terribly wrong and what's not as bad as it seems? So, we're going to be talking about all of this based out of examples of the work that we have done and whatever we've managed to achieve so far through communities. Let's get on to it. We're going to start with an example. And this is a very simple example of that we had a great call with a community aspirant and we invited them to an offline event. Now they arrived late, and so late that the event was going to close, meaning it was an event which was meant to be from 3 to 7 p.m. This person showed up at 6:15. However, now as community builders, we're also fantastic hosts. So our job becomes, let's make sure that we are welcoming. We'll request the chef that if there is a possibility of getting some food out for them, we request the alcohol brand to do a tasting with them separately. Everything which was in our control, we tried to do for them. They leave seemingly happy, but they still post terrible feedback about us. Now, what went wrong here? Here are the two situations. One is that we did a terrible job of hosting. We weren't prepared for people coming in late, and we should have been. We should have made it a point we have the venue keep things ready for late joiners. That's situation one. So as a person, as a human being, you will always tend to look at it from whether was it as a sane person, I mean, right? Who's not losing their heads about being successful at a certain event. You'll think about it from both aspects. Did we do something wrong? The other situation is we have positive responses for everyone aside from this one person. So we did well. They should have arrived in time. We did not assess well during the call. We need to break ties with this person. And we should make clear to our community to respect schedules, our efforts, and time. I pondered upon these thoughts multiple times and ended up believing in situation two, that there was no way this was our mistake. This is why it is important to choose your champion wisely. Let me give you a breakdown of what a good community member looks like and what your poor, bad community members who need to be kicked out of your community look like. In communities, there is mutual respect, trust, and benefit. People learn to love you and are more accepting. In fact, helpful during little hassles. They are like family. The right member sticks with you through thick and thin, and communities grow with you. Now, when I restarted events with Brand Fueler, there were multiple people whom I brought back from the LBB community. These people were meeting me after a hiatus of 4 years, because it was those 4 years is when I shifted to mom and pop. There were two massive waves of COVID and events had stalled. I had moved from Gurgaon to Jaipur and I had started a new business. I'd had a baby. I was another person already. But when I reached out to these people again, that, you know what, I'm kickstarting events again, why don't you come over? These guys were very happy to know that I was back in the market. They were still like friends. So there were people who were coming into this event and they were meeting each other. They'd known each other from the events that we had done at LBB, and they were losing their minds. They were so happy to meet each other. So there is mutual respect, trust, and benefit. I was no longer LBB for them. I was Megha. That this is someone with who used to organize fantastic events, and we want to go back and whatever she's up to, we want to be a part of it. We are going to have a good time. And that's exactly what happened. They just suddenly showed up and everything was just fantastic. I felt very confident that now my community skills have refined so well that there are people from 4 years ago who are still interested in being associated with me. People learn to love you and are more accepting. Is exactly what I mean. So these are the people, the good community members, that even in a situation where a certain event is not going as planned, is not going as well as I had planned. And see, the thing with events is there are unforeseen circumstances that you will be faced with, where out of nowhere your sound system has started malfunctioning. I remember we were doing an event at this restaurant called Tiamo, and the restaurant was very confident and they really wanted us to do an event, etc., etc. They gave us a space at that venue on a Saturday morning. Somehow there was a really big group of women who arrived there. They were making a lot of noise, and of course, because they were also footing the bill, the restaurant decided that they are going to prioritize the paying customer over us, right? In this situation, how it ends up is that we are constantly just running around requesting waiters that, yeah, why are you serving cocktails so late, can you please bring snacks. It was a chaos. However, there were very, very cool community members on that event, all of the people that I'd known very well. So these people are never going to blame me. They will understand that this is not an easy task and the restaurant is being a pain, and they'll not regret coming to that event. They would regardless just enjoy, and I would also make sure that I do something extra for them, like I'll get an extra round of shots for all of them. So that is how a community member needs to be. And when I say communities grow with you, what I mean is these people believe that associating themselves with me is basically that we will mutually grow. I will bring them opportunities and they will help me by getting my brand to stabilize. So that's how your champions, your good champions, your knights look like. However, when we talk about the wrong members, a wrong member isn't in the community for shared interest. They're there for the freebies, they're there for the giveaways, and they're there for the money. Whenever you will talk to an influencer, right, like a typical influencer, they're going to tell you, yeah, we can come to the event, but I need to be paid. So we're giving you a five-star venue where you are getting treated, where you're getting the best service, the food that you're going to eat there, and the alcohol that you will drink there, if there is any alcohol, will cost you nothing less than about 10 to 15,000 in Delhi. So that already is getting done. Plus, we are putting in so much effort. Over and above that, you want a payment against what? The fact that you come, enjoy, go back, and that you have to put in a reel. So they'll not care that, if today they're inviting me, tomorrow they might make me a panelist and they'll give me visibility. They just care about giveaways, freebies, and money. These guys won't accept even the slightest error. They'll jump to spread negative word of mouth. Now, these are the people we have to be very wary of, because we'll have to understand that we are going to make mistakes. Any business, any field or genre, when you are starting out, or when you are getting at that, picking up pace, the only way to learn is by committing huge mistakes and failures. That's very, very important. In a situation like that, like, it's like your typical Indian family mentality, where if the child has failed, the family generally sits down and shames the child, right? Which is exactly why the child continues to fail. So do you need that kind of parents? Definitely not. You need parents who will be like, you've fallen, take this as a learning, get up again, no worries. So that is exactly what these wrong members do. That if you've made a mistake, or if there is a problem that has occurred at an event, they would jump to spread negative word of mouth. Yes, Nisha? Something you want to say? You've raised your hand. Okay. Now, the next is that once they've taken money, their incentives or freebies from you, they'll head to the next event. So I know kickstarted events again, my team was a very young team, and they were still learning. So I would always like to tell them that, you don't look for influencers, please. Don't look for people with, don't stop getting fixated on that number of followers. That's not the people you want. However, they always ended up, because of that, the mindset, the way in which the mind is wired, they ended up inviting such people to my event. So I've seen multiple people who've come to the event, have suddenly come while I'm hosting and said, hey, you were going to give us a bottle of alcohol, right? After this event. I said, yes. Can you give it to me? Because I have to head to another event. So they'll just take that bottle and they'll run away to the next event. They don't care for you. They are there because they just want to have a good time and free fun. The last is they aren't in this for the growth. They're in this for momentary gain, which is that, I genuinely believe that most of our fake influencers have started to realize that very soon their shop is going to shut. Now what they're doing is they're trying to make hay while the sun shines. As long as people still believe in influencers even a little bit, they're trying as much as possible to gain from it as much as they can, instead of going on to plan B, which is make their content better and stay relevant even later. So these people aren't there in this for the growth. They're there because, okay, for maybe for the next 1 or 2 years, I'm still going to be relevant. Let me make the best out of this as much as possible. Baad mein we'll see, right? So this is how I segregate my champions. To flesh this out further, what I've done is that I've divided my champions into the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's talk about the good first. So I've picked out Karishma Govill's name here because she's practically one of my oldest community members. I started working with LBB in 2016, so I've known her since then. It's almost 9 years now that I've known her, because she was already an insider. She was one of the first few people who'd started using the post feature. So she's been on the community for that long. She's always in time. So every time that there's an event, Karishma will be the person to join first, to reach first. Very typical of her that I am going to reach first. That I think uh, is a very beautiful acquired trait which we army kids have. I am also an army child, so this precision with time is something that is beautiful. That we'll make sure that we arrive in time. So this is one thing that I love about her. She's very inquisitive and chirpy, which is that if there is an educational event like a wine tasting, she will have the most questions to ask the sommelier. That, okay, which cheese does this wine go with? Oh, the taste of it is very sour. Can we try a more mellow cheese with this? So she's actually there to learn. It's these experiences make her. She knows that these experiences are gaining her knowledge. She's very chirpy, which is that she gets along with everyone and she doesn't care. There is no status quo that she follows when she's getting along with people. If that person's a very different personality, also Karishma will have things to say to them. So she's fantastic like that. She ended up making multiple friends through our community. So when I kickstarted events again, when I was talking right now about those old community members who came together and the way they met each other, they went wild. Karishma was one of them. So she met with Pramita and Ashish, who were also on our community before. And these people actually howled and screamed in that restaurant when they met each other. I think that was a sight to behold for me. She helped us set up a cheese board at a wine tasting, the same wine tasting where she was so inquisitive and chirpy at. When, because she arrived early, I was setting up the wine and cheese charcuterie board, and she comes in, she says, this is about home. Let me also help you out. And she started doing this with me while she's chatting with me. So because we've seen her personality and we've seen how commanding she is and how welcoming she is, I have also given her the opportunity to host events for us on our behalf. Now she's done a fab job of it. She's done multiple hostings at LBB as well. So she's wonderful. Now let's talk about the bad. I've taken the example of Shelly Singh. This woman showed up at the event at 6, which was meant to end at 7. This is the same example that I was speaking of earlier. Did not interact with anyone. She believed she was superior since she had 120K followers. She had this attitude about herself, right? So she was not mingling with anyone. She just wanted to sit in one corner. She'd arrived late and was just looking around at where's my food and where's my drink. She interrupted the host to give her freebies. Next, she had to leave for another event. So this was the same person who came suddenly while I was on the mic speaking to my community. Suddenly there's this lady who comes and stands next to me and says, "Hey, listen, can you give me that bottle? I have to head to another event." She posted terrible feedback about the event, criticizing the brand. Later, I find out, and this was a very successful event. Everything was executed to perfection. I was very happy that that event had flown by so well, and everyone was very happy about the event. But this person, this one woman, went out and posted negative feedback about us. That, I wasn't taken care of. I was just sitting in a corner, etc., etc. So this is your bad. These are people that, okay, fine, doesn't work out for us. Let's cut ties with her. Then let's talk about the ugly. Yes, it gets uglier than this. Much, much uglier than this. Yes, Kanchan, is there a question you have?
Yes, hi Megha. So I was just wondering, in terms of people like the bad or the ugly, right? How do you handle these people because they have multiple follows, as we are seeing? So how
Yes.
does your reputation overbid what they have posted probably, or the way they have reacted to your event?
Yes, I'm coming to that as well. I will tell
Okay,
you how these are taken care of.
sure, thanks.
No worries. The ugly is someone that leaves you with absolutely no choice. There's no control. You don't know what to do, right? So the worst experience that I've had with a few influencers was that there is this woman called Dolly Mohindra, and she was chosen by one member on my team, and she was sent to a five-star property in Nokuchiatal along with her friends. She had promised us three reels. Now, this property, there are two properties in Nokuchiatal we were working with. They're called alt homes. Beautiful properties in the middle of the mountains, lovely, and it's got like they have their own help out there. Their caretakers who make very good Pahadi food, Uttarakhandi food. Everything is wonderful about these places. Now, these women, she took two of her influencer friends, women, and one influencer man, guy, and two more friends. So there were six people together who went to these properties. The first day was in one property, the second the other. They got drunk, smashed bottles in the terrace. They were very clearly also doing other stuff. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there was something wrong there because middle of the night when the property rules were very clear that after 11 p.m. you're not allowed to demand food or anything because the caretakers don't. That's the way the property operates. And they woke the caretaker up at 3 in the morning. Like, you know what, we're very hungry. You please cook. They criticized the venue, made them pay their conveyance, and threatened to post negative reviews. Which is that, I mean, there were ridiculous things that I was hearing. I got a call from these people saying that what is this nonsense? We don't like this Uttarakhandi thali. Please give me paneer roti like your Punjabis eat. So they were the spoiled West Delhi brats who had possibly got only bot followers. And there was no way on earth anybody could like people like these. And these were our influencers. So it was the first time I questioned influencers in the country. That this is the kind of behavior our influencers are showing, this is their conduct. Then, while they were heading back, and we were very clear that you will not be given any allowance, meaning your conveyance, which is that your stay is free, but your conveyance is on you. While towards the end of their stay, I got a call from the caretaker saying, "Ma'am, they are requesting that we pay their taxi fees." Then these women tell me that we are asking for this because there are women here. How can you just expect us to manage our own situation? And that this is a comment I can't tolerate, right? And I said, she's asking me, would you do this? Would you be okay if you were asked to just move around alone? And I told her I travel solo and I travel on my own. I don't even have a bunch of people along with me when I'm traveling, so you don't even go there. But then I realized that this is just blowing out of proportion and I don't want to get into an argument. I gave the caretaker, I Paytm'd him the money and said, just drop them wherever the hell they want to be dropped. We just want them out of the property because we can't even call the police on them. Technically, we've invited them. There's no way in which we could do anything. So this is the ugly. Now, let's first talk about what do we do with the good? How do we engage and retain the good? Number one, the thing is, so if you look at the pictures here, the screenshots, They're all screen grabs from the same event that happened at Chica Loca, where this one person was late, right? So, how we manage and retain is number one is that we treat even our brand partners as our community. The first thing I would do is the first picture is the DJ at the venue. We did a shout out for her. The second is of a celebrity chef, Vaibhav, who is working with us again now. And he was fantastic at the workshop. And this is one creator's child, and he taught this child how to make sushi. The third is of our alcohol partner, Kamikara, and that's the GM of Piccadilly, Abhishek Harrison. He was there with the alcohol, so we gave him a shout out. The last one is Sahil Baveja, who is the owner of the restaurant Chica Loca by Sunny Leone. So we give all of them shout outs. First off, we make it look like this is the family that is waiting to host you. So that is one. The same thing we follow with our community as well, our people as well, which is that we create opportunities. Involve them with more of your activations. Example, send them an invite for each event. Block a slot at each interaction, send them freebies. So we keep doing something or the other for them and we allow them to take center stage. For example, the event that we're doing on the 25th of January, which is actually an event called Power Up, which is with Herky, the panelists there are they're all working women who've been on our community, right? So they've been on events with us for alcohol, they've been on events with us for food, they've been on events with us for pets. Now we've told them we want you to be celebrated on Herky because you have the potential. So we're making you mentors on Herky. Come be panelists with us, right? We are giving them that space, we are giving them that platform. So number one is, you should not, one thing that I have learned over the past 12 years in working with communities is I don't want to be the star of the show. I want everyone to grow with me. So while I might be the face of my brand, I allow other people to host my event for me. And these other people are mostly my community members, nobody else, not my employees. That you know what, you host it. You be the brand ambassador for Brand Fueler. The second is ask them for help. This is something that I've learned over time as well. That, when you're asking your community member to come help you out with a setup or with a decoration, you're not demeaning them in any way. They feel really good. They feel like, "Arey, to ghar ki baat hai," right? They feel like this is family. So this is something that I've learned over time, that you can ask them for help and learn from them. There are people with expertise that you may not have, right? For example, we found out about a person who's fantastic with chalk carving on our community, and we asked her to do a workshop, right? Similarly, I may know how to cook. I love cooking, but the Taste Sutra cooking studio, which is run by this chef called Achal Bhalla, she knows the skill of getting people to bond while cooking. That's her business model. So I will host an event with her where I'll let her take the center stage. You do this, I am just going to be there to help you and coordinate. So I don't want to be the hero everywhere. I allow everyone to take the center stage and give them that importance. Now, how do we build better with the bad? See, the bad I put in that mid category where there may be problems with them, but they might be problems that are solvable. So I always give them that leeway that maybe because it's the first time that we're working together, there's something that they've not liked. It's all right. Let's see if we can fix this. So the first thing is that that they're not your crowd, but you have to be tactful. You've realized, okay, but you have to be very tactful. You should never disrespect. The point is, there should not be an opportunity for anybody to take a video of yours to post negatively on social media, which is why I am a very different person when I am with my community. I am otherwise a very strong headed, pushing back kind of a person. I don't take nonsense from people otherwise. If I'm talking to my brands, for example, and if they've come up with something ridiculous, I always push back. But with my community, I know at any point, anybody could be taking a video of me. So I never disrespect. Let them be the ones being disrespectful. Third is never overcompensate. A lot of these people do all this so that they can derive as much as they can from you. Like the ugly, that situation, you don't know what to do. So you always end up overcompensating. Like I said, I had to pay that caretaker ki bhai, please go drop them off at the bus stop. I want them out of the property, right? But with bad, never overcompensate. Doesn't matter what they'll go ahead and do. Don't overcompensate. Four is don't be afraid of pushbacks. Remember, you have a tribe that's got your back. This is one very important learning. One person going against you, worst scenario, if someone's gone and posted something about you, we don't worry any longer. I don't care any longer. Let them go do whatever. Because this is very common. There, if you go on Twitter, on maybe like a Blinkit or Swiggy or something, you will only see complaints out there. This product was not received, your customer service executive misbehaved with me, etc., etc. Doesn't make them any smaller. They're as big as they are, right? Because these few instances are one in a million, but those are the ones that come out on the public domain. So there's nothing you can do about it. So you'll have to understand that don't be afraid of pushback. If need be, you also have this really strong community backing you. And you can, it's actually very easy for me. If one person's spoken nonsense about brand fueler, I can call up 10 of my good community members, ask them to reply on it, and my life will be sorted. And that person who's misbehaving knows this, that they are the ones who are trying to go against us, but we have a very solid backing of really solid members. So even if they go ahead and do something stupid like this, you should always be armed with your ammunition. The fifth is stop interactions if there is zero scope of future collaboration. It's as simple as that. Anybody who does not have the scope of improving or getting better or behaving themselves in the future, just completely stop interactions. Now, for bad, I will also like to give you one more example. There is this, when I restarted my events with Brand Fueler, on my very first event, there was this one woman who showed up, who was invited, who was very nice. She was very nice. She was very sweet. She really wanted to interact with me. And her and I, we connected on Instagram. She used to DM me very regularly. Let's do something together. I'm really looking forward to it, etc., etc. I felt that she's fantastic. We should invite her for every event. We invited her for another event. She came for that as well. Excuse me. We interacted there as well. Everything was good. Then she came for a third event. However, later my team, after the event, what they would do is they would call these people, how did you like the experience? Please make sure that you post the reel within this week. Here are the tags, etc. They'll do these calls with these people. My team then later told me that this particular woman, every time that we are calling her after an event, she's only talking negatively about the event. Because it doesn't feel like that when she's at the event. She feels like she's very comfortable. So I said, okay, fine. If the first time this has happened, if there's something that she's not happy with, it's okay. Let's work on it with feedback. Because otherwise, she's really nice and she's possibly just giving positive feedback. Then the second time, I again heard a similar problem. So we had an event at this beautiful venue called the Orchard Farm in Manesar, where it was a house party. There was a pool outside. The entire property was ours, and the concept was very simple. It's a house party. You can go sit wherever you want to enjoy the property. We've arranged food, we've arranged music, we've arranged alcohol. The whole property is yours, just have fun. She ended up complaining about how we were forced to sit outside, whereas that was not an option at all. You could sit anywhere. Most people chose to sit next to the pool, but the property overall was open and she was with her friends. So if she would want to, she could very conveniently go sit inside with her friends and chill there. We were serving inside as well. Then I got to know from a few of my good creators that at every event, this person is coming to spread negative word about us. The reason this was happening is that she herself was doing events and we did not know about this, that she herself was trying to get big in the event space and was hosting events in Delhi, and she'd found a competition. The first time she spoke to me was that she wanted me to work with her. We could not That could not culminate very quickly because at that point we had just kickstarted and I was very, very busy. I was doing an event every weekend, so we just did not come to that point. She decided that if we cannot acquire a rival, let's kill the rival by going to their events and spreading negativity about them. And this I identified because my teammate then, Yashi, her name is Yashi, she told me that every time she's giving negative reviews, she's telling me that I'm not the only one who thinks this way. There are multiple creators out there who are thinking this way. So if there are people who are talking, very clearly there is someone who's starting that conversation. And over time, we realize that this is the person who's starting that conversation. So then, very clearly, this is not someone who should be on our events at all. After being on 4 or 5 events with us and spreading all of the negativity, and when we identified this, we completely cut her out. So this is how it works. And now this woman is not invited to any of our events. There is no interaction from Brandfuller towards her. And the funny thing is, while she's talking negatively about us, she is also on the group always asking us, when is your next event? Can I join you? Hey, are you not doing any events? Let me know if there are any. And we realized, oh my God, this is somebody who wants to be there only to spoil our reputation. So that's how we cut that out. What about the ugly? Number one, blacklist. Number two, be vocal about your experience with your community. It is always important. See, while this is like a one off experience, did not happen at an event and nobody else was there to see what was going on. I always, whenever, we've had my event is done with and I'm just chilling with my community members, maybe sitting in a circle or something. One second, I think there is a question. What event you schedule just out of curiosity and understanding us? What event you're talking about? What kind of events I schedule? I'll get to that as well. You'll see. Yeah. So be vocal about your experience with your community, which basically means that even if it has happened outside of anybody's eyesight, I always make it a point that when we are sitting with my community members, the good ones, I make sure that I let them know, along with the name of the creators, that these people actually did this, right? Because I want my community to know how difficult this job is for me and my team. And I want them to know that this is not okay, right? Somewhat kind of seeding into their heads that this behavior is not acceptable. And anyone who behaves like this will not be welcome in this community. I do this specifically with my new members. I let them know that this nonsense has happened and we are not okay with it. And we are not scared of blacklisting because there is no dearth of people. This world is full of talented people and we'll find them. There's no problem at all. Number three is keep a very keen eye. This is why I host all of my events on my own. Now, I am based out of Jaipur. Like I said, my husband's in the merchant navy, so he's hardly ever there. He's there 6 months a year, then he's again on ship. And my daughter is 3 years old. Now, despite this, even if I have to travel to Delhi every weekend to host an event, I would do it. I would sometimes leave my daughter here with my mother, or if I feel that I'm going to be there for 3 days and my mother to handle that child alone is also difficult. So then take my daughter with me to Delhi. There I'll drop her off at my in-laws' house. Then I'll go and do the event. But I ensure that I am there at the event because when I meet these people face to face and I keep a very keen eye on what are they up to, what kind of people are they, makes that filtering process a lot easier. Otherwise, my team, because of their lack of experience and because they're all new, there is always a possibility that they'll miss something out. But for me, because it's become habitual now to just identify what kind of people they are, I'm always at the event. This whole problem that we faced with this woman who was trying to sabotage Brandfuller's reputation by coming to our events was also because I noticed that they are regularly coming to our event and wanting to come to our event and are being very nice on our face. There is something really wrong if she's going and talking negatively about me behind my back. So this is why it is important that you have to keep a very keen eye on what members you're bringing. Filtering communities is a very essential part of of your community game. And again, don't be afraid of negative word of mouth. Most times your terrible community members are people with large egos but no power. There are multiple people who've gone out and tried to speak negatively about us. We've had, I think, 3 or 4 such experiences where someone's posted something negative. It has not impacted us at all, believe me. Because, like I said, the fact that influencer marketing is going down shows when someone's posted a negative review and not a single person's come back and told us anything about it. Not a single person's message doesn't say, hey, what happened? Because nobody cares. These are people who are posting 100 stories a day. One negative story about brand fueler doesn't make a difference, doesn't pull us down. So this is the last thing that I'd want you to understand, that this negative word of mouth, as long as it's not happening in bulk, meaning that you've done such a bad job where entirely the mistake is yours, then you should take it seriously. If that it is your mistake and there is a major error that has happened just because, or an avoidable mistake that could have been taken care of if you were a little more specific or more organized, then you should be impacted. But even then, you shouldn't be impacted about the review. You should be impacted about your performance. That doesn't matter what people are posting, doesn't matter. It goes away and nobody cares. Forget that completely. Now, because we're on this topic, I'm going to flesh out influencers for you. It's my favorite topic because I've dealt with the best and the worst. Now, from these pictures, you can clearly see that influencer marketing is nothing new. This term is new. This term was coined recently after just anybody became influencer on Instagram or wherever. But it's nothing new. So if you see, the first picture is a Shah Rukh Khan with in the Navratna Cool ad, right? And the second one's Pierce Brosnan for Pan Bahar. The Shah Rukh Khan aspect I still understand. He's the hero of the masses. Definitely doesn't use this powder. I've read interviews of his of he's told what perfume he uses, but he definitely doesn't use Navratna Cool Talc. But it makes an impact when an auto rickshaw wala or a panwadi or someone who's just regular, like your lower middle class. That's the TG for Navratna Cool. They will be like, yeah, I want to be Shah Rukh Khan. He's told me Navratna Cool, I'll buy it. So that this makes sense. But Pan Bahar and Pierce Brosnan, I have absolutely no idea what they were even thinking because first and foremost, Pierce Brosnan does not eat consume Pan Bahar. That is 100%. There's no doubt about it. And Pan Bahar also technically is for the masses, right? Um, the masses don't know James Bond. And even if they do, they don't relate with James Bond. Whereas I remember that Rajnigandha had Shammi Kapoor in their ad, a very old advertisement where Shammi Kapoor is the father of the groom and he's welcoming his relatives with Rajnigandha. That made a lot of sense. That was fantastic. But this Pan Bahar, it's just beyond my understanding. But I think this was more for negative propaganda because it still did get viral. So these two we've seen. We're doing influencer marketing a lot better, of course. But are we? Now, I'll tell you a few things that I have understood when I'm speaking to brands who want to do influencer marketing. Number one, they're easily swayed by the number of followers of an influencer. And they don't have idea about their engagement rates. They don't have an iota of knowledge about how engagement works. We don't deep delve into tonality and brand language. That okay, this influencer has 500K followers. Very good. But open up their reels. See, do they speak the way that you want them to? Is this the way your brand speaks? If your brand were a person, would this influencer be able to represent that person? Right? That is not taken into consideration. We look past demographics, gender age ratio from influencer accounts. So to give you an example, Wicked Good, which is a healthy noodles brand, I was working with them doing their influencer marketing, and they wanted to work with mothers and wanted mothers and children to make beautiful reels eating their food. Now, when we worked with these influencers, when I joined Wicked Good as their consultant, they were already working with a bunch of influencers, and they were like, "Yeah, Megha, nothing is happening with these. I don't know why." So then at that time, they were operational majorly in Pune. I checked those profiles that they were working with. Most of these influencers were not Pune based. They had either moved from Delhi recently or they'd moved from another city recently. So when we opened out their demographics, their Pune followers were not even 10%. So then how is it going to work? You're not going to be able to make a mark, and people have conveniently not even looked at demographics. They've not looked at gender age ratio. Now, to give you an example, if there's a fashion brand and they or a makeup brand, they get very wonderfully swayed with, look at the number of followers. I love her. Let's work with her. She's a pretty girl. The problem in India is every pretty girl has 50% creepy men following them, right? Who are not going to be your TG, obviously. So why aren't you opening that up? And that's not that poor girl's fault. Yeah, but you will have to look into it because you are investing in this. So why aren't you opening out these details? We are willing to put in more money because that's easier. But is it a long-term solution? With influencers, I've seen that people are like, how much does she cost? 25,000. Okay, let's bring her on board. Without looking into details like, are they actually speaking sense? Do they come with knowledge? What is the kind of content they've created? Are they actually making meaningful impact to the society? Being an influencer is a powerful device that you have the power to influence people. Are you positively influencing people, or are you being a random idiot doing random stuff which is just on reels and going viral because it's stupid? So no, none of these things are being looked at. We're just putting in the money there. Influencer marketing can be a big asset for a community or the brand in general, but it needs to be done right. So how's it done right? Number one, the most important thing that you have to look at is tonality. Number two is engagement rates. A rule of thumb is whatever is their number of followers, 7 to 10% people should be engaging on their content. So the best way to look at that is to look at their posts, not reels, because reels, so they gain engagement from outside your follower range also, right? So I may be a person with 600-700 followers, but a reel can reach up to 5,000 easily. But when you look at a post, that is where it doesn't get viral that soon, obviously. A post doesn't get viral, in fact, doesn't get shared so much. So there is where you have to see that if I have 100 followers, I should have at least 7 to 10 people engaging on my content. That's when you know that this is a genuine post, the genuine person. Number three is demographics and audience, age plus gender ratio. This is obvious. This I've already given an example for. Always check out the comments under the posts. This is also very, very important. One second, guys. I think there is a lot of noise outside. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, check out the comments under their posts. Now, this is the same example that I gave you of these pretty women. You'll always need to go and look at their content, their comments. There you will get an idea of what is the kind of people who are responding to them. Now, there's a very regular trend I have seen in mom influencers because we worked with a lot of parent communities. What these parents are doing is these women, they have formed their own community groups, and their agenda is let's follow each other, let's comment on each other's posts, let's like each other's content, and we'll mutually grow. So if you will open a fake mom influencer's profile na, so wahan par you will see that there are only other influencers who have commented, and their comments are baseless. Like there'll be a heart, so cute, fabulous. That's it. There will be no conversation about this is really interesting. This has opened my eyes. Thank you so much for sharing this content. The content also that they are sharing is really random. There is no parenting content there. There's just the mother and the child. They are doing something very random, like their that Shehnaz Gill reel that had Tuadda Kutta, Tommy Sada Kutta Kutta had gone viral, and the mother and the child is doing that, dancing on that. Is that the right influence? Absolutely not, right? So these are the things that you have to look at when you're selecting a creator. Look at their comments. What kind of people are following them? Are they followed by genuine people who want to learn, or are they followed by just people who are trying to build up on their numbers and their numbers in return? So that's how you have to look into influencers, like being an influencer. But if you would notice, there is not even a single point here where I've mentioned number of followers, because the new 500K is the 1K. The that has fewer followers, very, very genuine communities. The smaller the community, the more engaging it is. So I don't care about followers at all. Your influencer is based upon these pointers, these that I've put here, not number of followers. That doesn't matter. Clear to everybody? Okay. Now, when I say there is influencer marketing can be a great tool for your brand when done right, what are the approaches that you should take for influencer marketing? Number one is go after micro influencers and build momentum over time, mostly done on barter and at a minimal budget. Example, Mackley India. Right? Very simple. Mackley said, I want my micro influencers. If you remember from my session yesterday, Mackley is a kids and mothers, parents ka leisure wear ka brand. They said every month, yeah, 6 micro influencers can do reels for me, and that'll be great. So it's very simple. There's no budget involvement. This is done on barter. We are giving them products. Or even if there is a budget, that budget will be against that agency that is working for you. For example, Mackley used to pay me for this, right? And I used to do this at a very minimal cost for them at a 30, 40K that, okay, manage all of this. Now, the second is bigger influencers on contract for a certain amount of time, which needs a really big budget. For example, Manyavar, right? They had Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma on their panel for the longest time. Then they brought um, Naga Chaitanya as well. So they kept increasing their influences, the representation with time. And Ram Charan was also one of their, I think they still are on contract with Ram Charan. So Manyavar has the money, and this works for them also. People know Manyavar because Anushka Sharma, Virat Kohli. And the they got married and everyone started speaking like, this looks like a Manyavar ad, the way they're dressed up, etc. So the brand quickly connected with the minds of the audience when they brought these celebrities on board and they have the funds to expend. So that's the second way to do it. However, there are a few brands who have approached both the above techniques in a very smart way. For example, Slurp Farm. Someone had asked me a question also yesterday about um, how do you, I think it was for the sauce, no, groundnut oil. So this is the example I'd given yesterday. Slurp Farm's approach to influencer marketing was they started with a solid community approach, reached out to multiple mothers. And when I say micro influencers, what I mean is they may not be influencers. They have 1,000 followers. They're regular people like you and I, right? But their only criteria is they should be mothers and their tonality should match mine. They gave them products and they said, you please use my products. 1 month worth of Slurp Farm I've given you. You feed your child. Please give me content. Make content. Talk about me if you like me. So there were so many women, so many posts, so many, so many reels about Slurp Farm. Suddenly, it became as though if I am a new mother, I will find out from Farm one way or the other. That's how much Slurp Farm got talked about. Now, how did this impact Slurp Farm? They managed to create so much recall that Anushka Sharma took notice. She came on board as their brand ambassador as well as their investor. And they also launched another property called Millet, which is millet noodles for adults, which also, by the way, is got Anushka Sharma as their brand ambassador. That's how big Slurp Farm became only via following a consistent community path, right? So this was very interesting. Now, you don't bring a celebrity on board because the celebrity's child is necessarily eating Slurp Farm or the celebrity is eating Millet. The reason to bring a big celebrity on board is to show the world that we have arrived. We are big enough to hire a big person. That is the credibility that you're creating with this. And you got to understand that your celebrity doesn't just want to bring you sales, get viral, but the ultimate style statement is that I am big enough to afford Anushka Sharma now. There is no bigger credibility that you can give. So that initial credibility comes with real mothers, and your influencer should not come for the celebrity shouldn't come on board from that perspective of I'm going to increase my sales. That perspective should be I'm going to go show how big I've become. So this was a very interesting approach. And there are other brands also that are taking, and I think I had given you the example of Wicked Good as well. They did a similar thing with regular moms, and then Shilpa Shetty came on board as investor plus brand ambassador. So this is the new form of influencer marketing and new approach brands are taking. The funny thing is, now your older brands like your Pillsbury, who have all the money in the world, they are looking at how Slurp Farm is taking care of their. Slurp Farm also has pancakes, right? So they're looking at what Slurp Farm is doing and they're trying to do the same thing. I remember Pillsbury reached out to us saying, can you please take care of our influencer marketing? I said, why do you need influencer marketing? Then they said, no, sorry, I mean community marketing. We want to make noise about our pancake stack. And I said, you really, it's going to be a 2-minute job for you to hire a Kareena Kapoor. And they said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to work with communities. So the bigger brands are learning from the smaller ones, and I've now started taking that same approach. This has worked wonders for me because I have ended up working with some really big brands in the past 8 months, like your Wakefield or your Epigamia. They said, we don't understand this. Can you please do it for us? We want to do this. So now, what do you expect from influencer marketing? Influencer marketing is surely a strategy to put your brand on the map. It is a fantastic way to create recall for your brand. That's it. Regardless of how, whether you have the funds or not, start with creating recall with multiple micro influencers or community members, which is regular people. Your regular people are your influencers as long as they relate with your brand and their tonality is similar to you. So even if you have the funds, you shouldn't jump to just let's bring influencers and pay them. Never. Don't do that. They have that confidence that regular people will work for you and they'll work. You will have to say it with a lot of conviction to them that we are here to grow with you. We're here to help you grow. Once you've created recall, then you bring a major influencer or a celebrity on board to add credibility to your brand. While this is an option, I would never take this option. I don't believe in celebrities. But yes, this is what brands are doing. It's working fine for them. Not saying it's wrong. So yeah, this is one thing that can be done. Sales is a domino effect with influencer marketing. You cannot expect it to show immediately. There was a really stupid brand that I had ended up working with, which we ended ties with very quickly, where we were building a community for them. We were doing events with them. It was a pet wellness brand. Within the first month, they expected us to show sales from 30 community members. And I told them that, listen, that's not how it works. You work for 3 months, let the community work, let them spread the word about you. You will see sales coming in, but community has a domino effect. Influencer marketing has a domino effect. Within the first month, we decided not to work with them because we realized that they're not understanding the potential of this. The second month, we had out of those 30 creators, the 30 community members whom we had worked with for this particular brand, 18 people came back to us to ask for a discount coupon to shop the brand. So then I went back to the brand and told them that you were thinking this is not going to bring you sales. Here's a list of people who want to buy the product, but we have recommended against it. And the brand was shocked. So you should never expect sales to suddenly show from influencer marketing. That is not a marketing team's job. That is a sales team's job. A marketing team's job is to market the product to eventually bring sales, right? A simple example of this would be a TVC, a TV commercial. When there is a TV ad, everyone knows that we are suddenly getting sales. Everyone knows that, okay, our sales have gone up. The problem is there's no digital footprint that our sales have gone up because of the ad, right? We've seen the ad and we've gone and bought the product. There's no way to track that we've got the product because we saw the ad, while we can see that numbers have gone up. Similarly, with influencer marketing or with community marketing, there is no digital footprint. I posted a reel, someone in my community saw that reel, then that person went to the website or to the market and bought the product. While I have impacted the sale, there is no way to prove it. So if there is a way to prove it, if someday that invention happens, great. But even then, marketing is marketing, sales is sales, and these two things should never be mixed. And influencer marketing should always be considered a tool to bring loyalty and recall to your brand. To end with this, what I'll say is that always keep a community first experience, create influencers, and be mindful of the existing ones you bring into your community. Very, very important. You need to ensure that the people that are working with you, your community, they have the best experience with you. Once that is sorted, your brands will blindly trust you and come to you. That your community is sorted, you please do your job. Right now, the experiences that we do with partner brands, the brand has nothing to do in it. They keep asking us, is there anything we can do to help? And our response to that is, please just pay us and give us those products in time. Give your products to us. Please make sure that your products reach the venue in time. Everything else we will take care of. From photography, videography, documentation, creators, the conversations, the concept, everything we will do. And that is why the brand ends up working with us so often that they're like, this is the easiest marketing that we've done. We've had to do nothing. They've literally just asked us for the money and they've done a fabulous job. So that has been made possible because our communities, when the brand reaches the venue, when the representative from the brand reaches the venue and sees the way our community is with us, They just genuinely feel like, oh my God, this is not a company. This is not an organization. This is a bunch of friends. That's how this is, which is the biggest takeaway for them. Which is why it becomes like a no-brainer. We know after we've done an event that this brand we will bring on board again. They will come on board again. Yeah. So community first experience, create influencers, and be mindful, very, very careful with the ones that you have on your panel. Keep removing people who are working against you. I think that's about it. Now I'm going to open this up for questions. Please feel free to ask me whatever you have in mind. Anyone can go, guys. And please do ask questions. Yes, Manisha.
Yeah. What is tonality? I want to understand.
Okay. Tonality
Exactly.
is, let's say, I'll actually explain this properly so you get it. Have you seen an advertisement or not a TV advertisement, even a reel for let's say for Moxie Beauty? Do you know about Moxie Beauty, this brand for curly hair?
No.
Okay. Do you know Clinic Plus?
Yes.
Clinic Plus's advertisement, there is always a mother and a daughter generally, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
mother's wearing a
Yeah.
sari, the daughter in a frock, long straight hair,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Silky hair. Clinic Plus's tonality is that their brand language, which is that they want to appeal to the masses. Your typical lower middle class or middle class parents and their children, specifically mothers, because they're the ones who shop for shampoos, etc., for their house, right? Whereas if you would
Okay.
see a Moxie Beauty's ad, Moxie Beauty is the brand for modern tier one women with curly hair, right? Who have become very aware that their hair cannot, Clinic Plus can damage their hair. It is full of sulfate, right? They need products. They've become aware that for my hair, my brand needs to be sulfate free, paraben free. You're modern Indian woman. So their advertisements are also very like funky girls with wild curly hair, wearing poppy colors and very bold lip, Western music. Correct? So your tonality is basically your brand language, which is defined by the audience that you are trying to appeal to. Right? So Moxie Beauty's audience is your working women who have the spending capacity, are fond of fashion, and love their own personalities, have accepted that their hair is like that, and they want to rock that curly hair. So tonality is your brand language. So when you're choosing a
Okay.
creator or a community member for your brand, you have to consider that this is my brand language. Are you understanding?
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. Anybody else?
Hi, Megha, Iti here.
Hi, Iti.
Uh,
Please.
can you hear me?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, I can.
yeah, Megha. My question is, I think, like out of context, but I just wanted to know your views over this. Uh, uh, the thing is, like, I am very much interested in storytelling.
Hmm.
So, like, how should I initiate about like creating my own community, and how should I go about it?
See, initiating your own community, meaning becoming, creating content on Instagram.
No, 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 no. I'm really not interested in online things at all. I really want
Hmm.
to make it like offline things. I'll share my experience. I try to, connect with the storytellers around the city. I did ping them, call them, but they are very, experienced. I am in my like mid 30s and they are some 50 plus and well established, retirement kind of people. So they don't give a gaze. They suddenly say, okay, join this course. We are providing this, right? And I
Hmm.
want to work with them. I want to see their work. I want to uh, uh, put my efforts along with them, but
Yeah.
their thinking is very much different. They just want to earn money, but I don't know how to make people understand sometimes. I am ready to give inputs and I want to grow along with you.
That is because we are going after people who are already established and are a different generation.
Yeah, that's
Right.
why I asked you how I should like initiate thing.
You should initiate this by going after people who are younger than you and want to grow.
Okay.
Right? That is how it functions. What you're doing is the opposite of it. What you're doing is, right now, what you're doing is you're going after influencers. You shouldn't go after influencers, you should go after regular people. And you have no idea how much power that will have, because people who want to grow, who are ambitious, they encourage you a lot, right? They
Yes.
talk a lot about, find storytellers who are younger than you and lead those people and learn with them and grow with them. If you can find somebody to mentor you after you have your own community of people, it'll become easier for you to get mentorship. Then you should go to this larger crowd, these bigger people, and say that, listen, we have a community of these storytellers. All
Hmm.
of us want you to mentor us. Can you please
Okay.
set out an hour in a month to talk to us, or in a week to talk to us? We want to give you our inputs, what we've learned. And if you don't want to do this online,
Hmm.
that's absolutely fine, but you will find your people online. There are multiple people who are storytellers who are trying to build their presence online, right?
Okay.
So you need to scout them and don't go after the big shots unless you have your backing, right? If you don't have experience and you don't have a community, they will obviously think that this is someone who's going to freeload, right? And
Oh,
if they want to freeload, they'd rather pay me. My mother will never, for example, she's 60 years old. She will never do, and she's a retired army officer and doctor. Now, her mentality is only not that, yeah, I'm free. I'm going to do a session and you bloody well pay me. Right? So that
yes.
that is a generational difference as well. These people generally believe, your older people, that we've done everything in life now, enough. We are chilling, we are relaxing, and whatever we've learned in life, we'd want to earn from it. So first, create a community of storytellers that are your age group and your experience. Make mistakes together, learn together, and then approach somebody to mentor you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
No problem at all.
Megha,
I
Preeti here. I have a question, since you were telling, throughout the session, so you are scheduling some event. So what's that event all about, if I can better understand that?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. For example, if we are working with a brand called Two Brother Organic Farms, it is
Okay,
basically a brand that was on Shark Tank, was funded majorly. Uh, they uh, they basically work with organic food, which is
okay,
A2 ghee, millets, and your atta, rice, Indrayani rice, etc. Very
okay,
well-known brand. It has over 200K followers on Instagram. It is, people love the brand. It is very expensive though, but it is
okay,
your typical Delhi audience brand.
okay,
Now, if we are working with them, what we'll do is we'll reach out to them and we'll tell them that we want to get our community to cook your food. So
okay,
we're bringing 20 community members together in the field of clean eating, dietitians, nutritionists, yoga instructors, who will
okay,
relate with your brand and their audiences will relate with your brand, right?
okay. Yeah,
So we'll
got it.
get all of these people together at one, we'll tie up with a venue, which is
Yeah,
mostly a cooking studio. We'll get
okay,
all of these people together. The brand's founders will also come there, and all of these people will cook together. And everything will be
yeah,
documented, and our community will then make reels about this whole experience with Two Brothers Organic Farms.
okay. Yeah, got it, got it. Yeah, that's
That's
cool.
the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes,
thank you.
no worries. Alka, you have a question?
Yeah, yeah, Megha.
Is this my internet or yours? I
So
can't
you
hear you.
mentioned about the slur farm thing.
Yeah, now I can hear you now.
Yeah. So as you mentioned about slur farm yesterday, also you mentioned when I asked. So first is like, how do they choose those mothers? Are they choosing a particular area in their
One
maybe
second, Alka,
society, friend
one second.
circle?
I don't know if it is
Alka,
mine or yours.
no, Alka, your
One
voice
minute.
is breaking.
Yeah, could you just drop that question in chats?
Yeah, it's better. Alka, please do that.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Yes.
can hear you now.
Yeah, so I'm saying yesterday also we had discussed about slurp farm marketing scheme, and today we deep dived in that. So my question is, so if you want to start with the brand ambassadors as the mothers, the housewives, the caretaker of the houses, how do we choose them at the first point? So being a new brand, how should we approach, how like initially your friends and your immediate groups, they know about you, then it first product. So if I want to give them for a month the products to use, then how should I get the first 10 people, 15 people using my products?
So you have to understand how you get your first 15 people using your products is you will have to first figure out what your demographic is. So let me give you an example very simply here. We were working with this brand, not a brand actually. This is really sweet couple that was on our community. They're running kitchens of authentic Maharashtrian cuisines at their home, and they wanted their first 12 people to come and try their food and talk about it. Right? There's the cuisine's called Patre Prabhu. It's a very dying cuisine. People don't know about it, and it's very popular. Otherwise, it used to be very popular at some point, but now it's a dying cuisine. So how they found their first 12 people is they went straight. They approached us to find their first 12 people for a table at their venue. So they defined a few pointers on what kind of people should these be. Number one, they should be people who have a spending capacity, because once they launched their tables on a paid basis, it was a 1200 per head. So someone should want to spend 1200 per head, 1200 for a lunch, right? So they should have a spending capacity. Number two was this needs to be a crowd that is, they're all working professionals and they are an English speaking crowd, right? The third was the age group. So they should be within the age bracket of 28 to 40, nothing younger, because under 28, these young, extremely young people, what they don't have, most times they don't have developed taste. They're still okay with your burgers and pizzas. Excuse me.
Okay.
It is the people after 28 who start developing, and that's I've seen with me also. I was not fond of regional cuisine till a certain point, but right now I'm in a space that even if I will travel, I will want to go and eat at their local spots and local restaurants. I don't want to go to a cafe or a fancy restaurant or a five-star hotel. I would rather go into the villages and eat in their dhabas if I'm traveling Rajasthan, or if I'm in Ladakh, I would go to the most local places to eat. So that lot, it should be over 28. And the most important thing was that they're local explorers and travelers, people who travel local, right? Because Pathare Prabhu is an Indian regional cuisine. People who like to try Indian regional food will be the ones who would relate with this. So the first step to identifying your people is to first outline what the qualities of your community member would be. The second thing is, once you have that outline ready, there'll be like an image of that person in your head. Then when you're looking at somebody's Instagram profile and how they represent themselves, you will very easily be able to identify whether they are fitting your community or not, right? This is what all brands do. Whatever TG they want to cater to, like I'd given you the Clinic Plus and Moxie Beauty example, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
they first identify what does their TG look like. Then they start, they then try to create a brand tonality which appeals to them. In your situation, you will first identify what your TG looks like, and then you will find people who look like that TG on Instagram. And finding them is very simple, hashtags, right? So you'll need to
Okay.
first draw out your community member and then find them on Instagram, reach out to them, get their contact. To get to your first 15, you will have to reach out to at least 45 people.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. It answers my
no problem.
question.
No problem. Any other questions, guys?
I have one more question. If I want to learn more about marketing and this, what should I read, or which place should I look for?
See, my way of doing that is that uh, सबसे पहले तो or what I do is that I want to see what other brands are doing. There are multiple things that you can read online, honestly, but I've not done any of that. What I have done is I just follow the brands that I feel that are doing a good job. And I keep, the minute I follow them, I will get recommendations of similar brands. I keep, my follower list is mostly just brands that are doing well. I keep seeing what they're doing. And this is how I learn from that. For example, Raw Pressery and Mint, they are now doing a farm to table experience at their farm in Manesar, right? So now what I'm doing is I saw that they're doing this. Now I'm sending one of my teammates to this particular experience to go and learn what they're doing, right? We are also doing similar work. I'm sending my team member ki jaake dekho, are they doing a good job? Are we doing better? If they're doing better, what are we not doing well? So my learning is very, very practical learning. I don't go back and read anything because the problem is my field of work is very niche. It's very new. There are not many people who've published a lot about it. Now there is a lot of publishing that is happening around influencer marketing and how it is a dying breed. But this is something that I had started understanding right in the beginning of COVID, that this is going to die down. Because during COVID, the minute COVID hit, people were sitting at home. A lot of people were at job scares, losing their jobs. They, in panic, immediately decided, let's just do this. We don't know about life. We don't know about jobs. We should earn our own living. Let's become influencers. In hundreds and thousands, people then started buying followers, all bought followers, and every other person became an influencer, right? And once that happened, brands were very excited that there are so many influencers, we can work with so many people. They started working with people who were influencers on the face, but actually had
Mhm.
no talent, right? Sooner or later, brands also are going to realize this. That's why influencer marketing is turning over and community is becoming big, right? That don't
Yeah.
go after these fools who have bought followers. So these are things that I've also read, but I already knew that this is going to happen, which is why I moved into communities a long time ago. I stopped influencer marketing completely a long time ago. I don't care about influencers anymore. I don't care about celebrities anymore. They're not authentic. So these things
I
I'm
think
seeing a lot of
Whole Truth
confusion.
is also community marketing, right?
Who is?
Whole Truth, the Whole Truth.
The Whole Truth, yeah, absolutely. Whole Truth has done a lot of community. Your Ethiopia has done a lot of community. Ditch the Guilt is trying to do similar work that the Whole Truth is doing. So yes, it's all
Which
community
one?
marketing. If you've known about the brand Ditch the Guilt is also another chocolate brand like Whole Truth. If you know about this brand called Tiggle is a chocolate
Yeah,
hot
Tiggle I
chocolate
know.
brand.
Chocolate, hot
Yeah.
chocolate. Yeah.
So
Which
yes.
one you
So I
mentioned
first
before, Tiggle?
ordered Ditch the Guilt.
Pitch the Guild.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's also entirely doing community marketing. Tiggle, I had discovered Tiggle when I was pregnant in 2021 or December when it was very, very cold in Delhi and I wanted to drink hot chocolate. And at that point, that brand had some 2,000 followers and I found it very interesting. Then I ordered it, was very, very tasty. Out of nowhere, I saw that brand grow maximum proportions. It obviously came on Shark Tank also later, but before that, Tiggle only did communities. Multiple people who were using their hot chocolate for multiple recipes. They were making mousse out of their hot chocolate. They were making
Yeah,
chocolate milk. They were making chocolate jelly out of their hot chocolate. And they
ice
became
creams,
really
not.
big. Ice creams, yes. So there are
Yeah.
some very interesting brands who have become super big via community marketing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All- Thank you.
no worries. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, Megha, you spoke about two brothers. Okay, you said that you like arrange an event for them, community with community members. So it was a physical event at some specific location, and how you marketed that event, like through social media, or how is it? I just want to know.
It is, we don't do virtual events. Everything is
Yeah.
physical.
Okay, but it
Uh,
was at at the location where brand is uh, established, or it is all over India. Like how you decide that?
See, first and foremost, if we're doing an event in Delhi, the brand has to be operational in Delhi. If it is not operational in Delhi, there is no point doing an
Okay.
event in
Yeah.
Delhi.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So this
Mhm.
event, we yes, we do the event at a venue where or at a place at a location where the brand is operational. Okay. This
Okay.
brand is also selling out on Zepto and Blinkit. And Delhi, obviously, it is selling in Delhi, right?
Mhm.
The location is we have multiple partners that we work with. I have onboarded a lot of experts on doing events with me. So this one happened at Tesutra Cooking Studio in Lajpat Nagar. The way in which this was marketed is that we give the brand all of the documentation of the event. They tell us, yeah, we want this kind of snapshots. We want you to show our ghee
Okay.
being poured onto khichdi, right? So we have our
Okay.
own photo team covering all that. The people who come to this event, they all make reels documenting the event and tagging Two Brothers and talking about how great the product was. So there are
Okay.
about 15 to 18 reels that come out for Two Brothers. And overall, for an experience of this nature, Two Brothers pays us about 2 lakhs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Do you do events in Mumbai as well? We are not yet. We are going to start Mumbai as well in the month of March. We are already in touch with Sheffling. Sheffling's done multiple events with us in Delhi. The next event they want to do in Mumbai, so we're kickstarting Mumbai, Pune, and Goa. And yes, we would absolutely. We'll meet once we start. You'll know. Yes. Did someone raise their hand? Nisha? Does anybody have a question?
Yeah, one more question. So, how you decide your potential brands? Like, are they good or not? How you any uh, check from your side? Are they authentic, or what your eco-friendly or healthy? So, how do you decide that? You personally decide, or discussion with team? How is it
See, I'm a
decided?
brand nut. My experience at LBB made me that person who was always on the lookout for cool brands, right? The, that 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 particular organization's job was find cool things that you can talk about on LBB. So 4 years at a place where we are constantly on the lookout. 4 years when I am constantly curating content. Whatever my community was posting, I was either canceling bad content out or not approving content. I discovered that gave me this very attribute that I if I want to buy ghee, let's just say ghee khatam ho gaya. So then I'll go on Blinkit and I will see कौन से नए brands हैं. Last time, if I had ordered Two Brothers, this time I'll order Barosi to see whether it is good. So I myself am someone who's an explorer when it comes to brands. All of the brands I've worked with, I have first personally tried them. There are times when I've tried out a cool new brand and then I immediately tell my team, yeah, I've just tried Barosi. Here's the photo. Love the fucking ghee. Please, sorry, apologies for the language. Love the ghee. Please get me the contact. Yeah. So then they come back and they get me Barosi's contact. And then I talk to the founder. And then I say, listen, I've tried your product. It's fantastic. Can you please get me, a date where we can speak? We'll come back with a concept. Then I and my team work on a concept. Now, for example, Mother's Day is coming up, right? So, and then what we are planning to do is that we are going to reach out to Mother's Recipe. Mother's Recipe is a brand that does ginger garlic paste, marinades, cold press oils, etc. No, sorry, not cold press oils, but ginger garlic paste and marinades, etc. Spices and condiments. And we're telling them that we want to do a cookout where we are bringing 10 community members and 10 and their mothers together. And we are going to get them to cook. Each community member will tell us what is that one recipe or food dish that you believe nobody can make better than your mom, and we'll cook those 10 dishes with these community members and their mothers along with mothers recipes products, right? And we'll have all of that content out before Mother's Day, so it becomes a beautiful concept for that brand as well. right? So that is how we work, that we keep finding brands, we keep looking out. My team is also like that, that we will randomly someday we will just go to a modern bazaar, or we will go to a Limarche only to see what cool new brands are there that are in these stores, and that we can speak to, and then we fish out their content and we reach out to them. So when you're working in an area of, when your area of work is like this, like I said, right, you should be able to speak your community's language. My community is the kind that explores, wants to find great new things. I am also exactly like that. So finding my brands, how authentic they are, we do this on a very, very personal level. And this is not exactly a cheap habit. So if I have to buy Two Brothers ka ghee versus local ghee from the market here, it's going to be double the cost. But that cost I'm ready to incur because it's opening up insights for me. That is this brand worth giving a shot to? That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's-
Okay. Thank you. Got it.
Yeah. There's another, I'm curious to know, that does influencer marketing works for someone who is planning to set an e-commerce brand for various products? Yeah, it does. It does work for a brand that's working with various products. I mean, e-commerce, you mean what kind of? So Two Brothers also an e-commerce brand. And the next event we're doing is with ID Fresh.
No,
Of course,
like,
we have.
okay, okay. No, like someone who has a brand, like I'm just giving you an example. It's a random, maybe Mintra. Now, how does influencer marketing work for a brand like Mintra, which has multiple products, multiple things? So, how does influencer marketing come into role for these kind of brands? I mean,
So if you've,
e-commerce setup.
yeah, yeah. So if you've looked at Myntra, Myntra is full of community. Go to their Instagram. I remember in the last time that we did a session, I had given everyone a task, that, find any five brands and tell me what your influencer marketing and community marketing strategy will be for these five brands. So there was one person who'd come back with Myntra as one of their brands, and together we had gone through their Instagram. We'd go through Myntra's Instagram. There are many, many real women on their page, right? So Myntra is an aggregator platform. It has multiple brands listed on it, right? Multiple fashion brands listed on it. So for different
Correct.
fashion brands, they have different community tonalities. If there is a brand like Roadster, if you see the way their models dress, they have half their head is shaved, they're wearing nose pins, extremely big tattoos, right? That's the kind of tonality Roadster has. So they have community members of that nature who are sporting Roadster on their Instagram, and they've tagged those people also. If you talk about their brand Sangria, which is also Vintra's in-house brand, Sangria has your Indo-Western fusion, very delicate kind of bohemian tonality. So that's the kind of creators they have for Sangria. And yes, it works for them. The Mintra has a very big community. In fact, it's called Mintra Insiders. Like how we had LBB Insiders, Mintra has Mintra Insiders.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about the service-based industries? How does it work?
See, service-based industries, I think they have so much potential. For example, urban company, I feel like that is a missed opportunity. Urban company literally is serving people, right, on a daily basis, and they do a fantastic job. Every time there is an event I have to go to, I don't go to the parlor because I won't have the time. I book my salon services from urban company. They come over, they do a very, very good job. It is very easy for them to actually pull up community, that this is our community, our regular customers, and they can get the community to do a little bit of talking. They could do a shoot with their regular customers, before and after shots, and do proper stories. Like, okay, let's talk about Healthify Me. Healthify Me is a very popular app. It's a service based app, right? It's helping you get fit. And I have been on Healthify Me for a very long time. I think Healthify Me actually helped me get my body back post pregnancy. I put on 28 kgs of weight, and I lost all of that weight after I started training with Healthify. Right? So they are doing a very good job. If you would see their app, or if you would see their Instagram, real people are doing the talking. The people who have actually gained from Healthify. That is fantastic. And urban companies should ideally be doing something similar. They are not doing it. I don't know if they started recently or not, but Healthify is doing a fabulous job of it. So service companies is very simple. Give the service, whoever you're serving, just tell them to put one story or do an interview with them rather. That how did this help you? Right? So that is something that service companies, it's easier for service companies to do this actually. Okay, great. Any other questions, guys? No, I think we're done then. All yours, Zalika.
Thank you, Megha, for this wonderful session. And ladies, thank you for joining.